for some peace of mind, but TikTok said a gator drove a Jeep through the blinds. Florida man's at it again with fireworks and a goat, and someone married a ghost in a Dollar Tree coat. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is going on? Aliens dancing in a Waffle House song. Karen's got a taser in the checkout line, and Dr. Oz just adopted birds to fight off crime. Oh, I'm just sitting here scrolling, my jaw on the floor. The internet's a circus and I can't take no more. Yeah, when it's wildin', there's a raccoon in the sink. Someone robbed a Wendy's just to steal a frosty drink. A pastor's gone viral yelling about the end is near, while folks ride hoverboards in wedding gear. Hey, what in the Walmart rapture is this mess? Florida's a movie, but it's filmed in VHS. Someone fed meth to a squirrel named Dave, and now he's in a cage just throwing rave.
Good morning, everyone. It is the 10th of November, so if you've got anything that you've forgotten about the 10th that you're supposed to have done by the 10th, make sure you've done it. And good morning, everyone. Printing Chaos. Good morning, good morning. We have got a lot of headlines, a lot of chaos, and more videos I have found. And one video that might have performed a little bit of a miracle. I might understand foosball a bit more after this video. So welcome, everyone. Let's get into some headlines. P.S. It is freaking cold outside. Now, as a not meteorologist, if you are anywhere in America, apparently it is now the winter of our discontent. But apparently it's supposed to warm up by the end of the week. So, you know, it was the best of times. It was the worst of times. I'm not a meteorologist. I would tell you guys to go check out Ryan Hall, though, or Max Velocity, because yeah, the weather's going to be a little bit titchy this week. Well, speaking of touchy, a madman went and stole a FedEx truck on a New York street and went in on a crash-filled joyride that then turned to a scene trying to hijack an ambulance. So a normal day. Yes, Jason J., I did. I have been up and cleaning my room. I have been attempting to be a functional, like, human being and start Monday morning with a clean-ish room. So I have not been as on the computer this morning. I'm like, I'm going to start off this week with a clean room. So it's clean-ish. Because I don't know if anyone else suffers from what I'm going to call cleaning ADHD, but I will start with my vanity, and I find things that don't go anywhere near my vanity. So like I'll take something to my closet and then I'm like, oh, my closet is a mess too. So I get about 15% of each job done in one rotation, which isn't all that effective. But I feel like I've done a lot, but then my entire room looks more chaotic than it does when it first started, because I get about 10%, which is like, you know, making piles of random crap all over my room. Poor Mr. Mo. He has like a system and he knows how to clean his room. And I'm over here like, I sort of got half of my bed done. So it's always a hoot. But I'm not as chaotic as this person. A madman went on a chaotic joyride through Brooklyn Saturday afternoon after allegedly stealing a FedEx truck and crashing into multiple vehicles and a church fence before attempting to hijack an ambulance, according to authorities. Now, Dominique Bullock allegedly hopped into a parked FedEx truck outside of 606 Carroll Street in Park Slope and shoved its 25-year-old driver out of the vehicle around 2:25 p.m., according to the NYPD. Now, Bullock, who is 32 years old, then allegedly sped off eastbound on Carroll Street and smashed into a stationary 2012 Mercedes-Benz SUV parked just a few doors down. He kept going and rear-ended a yellow 2024 taxi stopped at a red light at Carroll Street and 6th Avenue, then plowed into a nearby church fence, causing damage. Is this the new, like, what is it, Grand Theft Auto New York? Did I not realize that we were just filming for Escape from New York? Where is Snake Plissket when you need him? Listen, I'm Russell Williams. Listen, I know you probably don't want to get into leather anymore, but I think we need some Snake Plissket around here. That being said, LA needs your help too. Basically, we need multiplicity of Snake Pliskets at this point. That being said, if anyone, my teenage heart aflutter when he was doing basketball in basic full leather wear. Oh, to be a teenage Mo again. Any hoozle. Now, after he decided to, plow into a church fence, he then ditched the truck and fled on foot. Now, he bizarrely returned to the crash scene and attempted to climb into a parked New York Presbyterian Hospital ambulance that had responded to a wreck he allegedly created. Now, Bullock tried to operate the ambulance but was unsuccessful and was quickly taken into custody, according to police. Now, he's been charged with robbery, attempted grand larceny auto, reckless driving, criminal mischief, and leaving the scene of an accident. Now, no injuries were reported, at least significant, with all of these things that happened. So that is somewhat of the silver lining. My P.O. box is on my page, and I cannot remember it right now. So I would, yeah, he actually went back to try to steal an ambulance, as you do, you know. In sad news, legendary actress Sally Kirkland is in hospice after a heartbreaking dementia diagnosis was announced. Actress Sally Kirkland has entered hospice care in Palm Springs amid her battle with dementia. Now, Kirkland's rep, Michael Green, confirmed the news to TMZ, adding that her friend and former student, Cody Galloway, is beside her side. Now, the Oscar nominee, 84, has suffered a lot of health issues in the recent years. A GoFundMe was created in November 2024 after Kirkland fractured 4 bones in her neck, right wrist, and left hip. And while she was recovering, she had developed 2 separate life-threatening infections as well. Thank you, Celestial Force. I'm kind of like, please, sir, can we have another spring? Like, I just need the temperatures to be not freezing. Actually, I need our fireplace to work. That's what I need. And thank you so much, JKD Buck. This is my mailing address. And yeah, I thought so as well. So I felt bad because I thought she had already passed. Now the bills began to mount, and it was just more than her insurance could cover. Last month, organizers of the fundraisers posted a message. Hi, Sally continues to send her love to everyone. It's been a challenging few months for her as her health continues to struggle. She had a fall in the shower and was left unattended, injuring her ribs, foot, along with getting several cuts and bruises. She is now receiving 24/7 specialized care in a dementia facility that's providing safety and care. We continue to try to raise money to cover the gaps between income and care costs. Thank you for all the love, support, and care for Sally. That is a lot of hairspray that had to go up to make that hair, y'all. Now, on Friday, a message from the organizers shared that the Hollywood legend is now moved on to hospice care. Thank you for all your love and support. Sally is grateful for your kindness and love. She is in hospice now, resting comfortably. Please hold and send a light for Sally, the comments read. Now, Kirkland was a member of Andy Warhol's Factory Circle and appeared in avant-garde productions off-Broadway. One second. She received raves for her role as a former actress in 1978's comedy drama Anna, which earned her a Golden Globe Award for Best Actress in a Motion Picture Drama and was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress. Now, she has been in over 200 movies and films, including Charlie's Angels, JFK, and Bruce Almighty. And yes, that was the address, so let me pull it. Yes, this is the address for me. I do have a P.O. box. Not that I don't love you guys, but, As the internet has taught us, maybe we shouldn't put out, our addresses. So the world is strange. Speaking of the world being absolutely strange, apparently Hazley got groped on stage by a fan during a DC concert. Keep your hands to yourself. I shouldn't have to say this, but I don't care if she's dressed in cellophane wrap and dental floss. You keep your hands to yourself. That being said, I don't know that I actually know any of Hazley's songs. Hazley fans are horrified over an incident that occurred at the singer's concert in Washington, D.C. last week. The Grammy nominee, 31 years old, was performing her track Is There Somewhere at the Anthem on November 4th when one of her fans reached up on her to her leather skirt and groped her. Now, in a video from the show, Hazley can be seen performing on stage on the front barrier in front of fans as the concert goer's hands reach up and start touching her thigh. Yeah, don't touch people's thighs that you're not married. Oh, and the buttocks. No, where is security? Then the fan, went to the buttockular region and groped her butt before security quickly intervened and swatted the person's hand away. Now, I'm just telling you that I don't know that I'd have needed a security guard because Hagatha the leg is on a hair trigger. So had he gotten the fully automatic, hair trigger leg, he probably would have gotten kicked in the face, allegedly in Minecraft. It's just something that happens with my weird leg. Or that I blame it. But no, honestly, there are some times that if you touch my affected leg, it will kind of spaz out. And I have kicked Mr. Mo unintentionally. So we have had to learn this. Now, Hazley appeared to be unaware of what happened as she kept singing for the crowd. Let me tell you, media, I tend to know when someone is gripping my posterior, so she was probably being a professional. That doesn't mean it's appropriate just because she didn't, say anything. And thank you, Auntie M, for ew. Yeah, look, I may not know her music, but as a mom of girl children and boy children, I don't want any person to be groped without their consent. So I don't care if you're, a pop fan and you paid $50 or whatever to see her ticket or see her show. Don't touch people that aren't related to you or you're not married to. It's like kindergarten. Do we need to have remedial kindergartening classes for people? Like, we don't steal stuff. We don't touch other people's stuff. We don't touch other people. I feel like I'm talking to a bunch of toddlers. And thank you, Auntie M, for ew. Yeah, this is kind of an ew thing. Now, that being said, she does kind of hang around doing these things, but as I have told my girls, I wish we lived in a world where you could dress up in this to go to Walmart and no one would do nothing. But we don't live in that world. So I do feel like it is somewhat of a double-edged sword. If you do sell yourself as a sex symbol, then, where are we going with this? Look, I'm not the smartest person and it's too much of a Monday for me to figure out world peace right now, but there has to be a better way. That being said, don't touch people. I don't care if they're famous. Don't touch them. I mean, now parents are issuing a dire travel warning after their after their daughters passed away on a vacation. Please remove this country from your bucket list. Parents of two Australian teenagers who passed away in Laos last year have begged for Australians to remove that destination from their bucket list. Ahead of the anniversaries of their daughter's passing, Holly Morton Bowles and Bianca Jones's parents have slammed the Laotian government as corrupt in an interview with the Herald Sun. They also claimed that there's no evidence that the police have even investigated the deaths of their two daughters. Now, the best friends, Holly and Bianca, were both 19 and were on a trip of a lifetime in the tourist town of Vang Vieng in November of last year when they accidentally consumed methanol, as you do. I do remember vaguely hearing about this. I believe I had reported on this. There was a spate of time where I think 4 or 5 tourists had died ingesting methanol. Now, the pair died alongside four other tourists staying at the Nana Backpackers Hostel. The colorless, odorless poison can spread or can cause serious injury and be fatal if just 0.85 fluid ounces are consumed. Now, Sean Bowles and Samantha Morton said that they were disappointed in the investigation so far, saying we recognize how corrupt and unhelpful the Laotian government is, and there is no evidence whatsoever to suggest that there's been any type of investigation ongoing. Our hope is that Australians remove this country from their bucket list. Your life isn't worth anything over there. We've seen that firsthand, as well as the other families that have been involved in this tragedy. Now, Victorian Premier Jacinta Allen acknowledged the parents' frustrations were very real due to the lack of change happening at the end of the Laotian investigation. Meanwhile, Mark and Michelle Jones said to date, no individual or organization has been held accountable, and noted it appears that the deaths of these innocent young women have been forgotten, brushed aside, and unresolved. Now, Chatlong Bosenvanith, I have probably mispronounced that wrong, is the Laotian ambassador to Australia and did not respond to questions from the Herald Sun. So this does look like something that they are not getting any help with. So definitely do be on guard. I know this is for an Australian, kind of audience, but, do be on your guard when you're, traveling. So the family's search for answers has been a long one, and the silence from Laos has been deafening. In February, it was revealed that the Laotian government had refused to meet with families of those who were killed in the mass methanol poisoning event. In an interview with 60 Minutes, journalist Tara Brown spoke to Mark and Michelle Jones alongside Sam and Sean Bowles, and they said that the Laos government has refused to meet with them since the deaths of their daughters. We've heard nothing. I can't have my daughter passing away and having that not mean anything. Now, following the tragic deaths of Jones and Bowles, an outpouring of community came in from around Australia and the world. So again, do be very careful when you're out. If something doesn't smell right, don't eat it. If something doesn't look right, don't eat it. And definitely Laos, could you get off your tuchus and do something? I mean, just a scotch of something, like where one would get a bunch of methanol to give out to friends. You think that would be something easy to, investigate? Like, I don't think that methanol is a big old, chemical most people get. It's not like, when Mr. Mo had to go get some Sudafed, from the pharmacist. I'm guessing you have to go to something like that if you want to get methanol. I mean, I may be crazy. I don't know much about much, but you'd think you'd have a tighter kind of thing on that. I have no words, y'all. If you had suspect in a red rum case calling an online psychic to see if they would get caught, go buy a lottery ticket. Mark and Marla Plumbo were concerned when their friend and business partner, Dr. Henry Hahn, failed to show up for a meeting on March 23, 2016. They would be horrified to learn the reason the following day from a news report. Marla Palumbo, I was in the kitchen on my computer and I kept checking, and I just remember screaming, "They're all dead." Now, Dr. Hahn, his wife Jeannie, and their 5-year-old daughter Emily had been found deceased in the garage of their Santa Barbara home. Mark Palumbo had just seen them on the way back from a business trip. Marla Palumbo, he brought his phone to me, and I'm just looking at all these pictures of Emily, and they were taken the Friday before. So, this is definitely, are they just doing the entire interview? They're not doing, for the love of all that is holy, they didn't actually explain what was going on. I should probably read some of these before I actually pull them up, but the kind of thing is that I read them with you. We might have to do a separate story on this because it looks like it's a very, very long article. So I will probably be doing a separate one so that we can go in through this and actually look at all of it, because it does seem to be very dense. So I do want to give it its full thing. So I will be doing a newsy nugget on this because I definitely want to get some more out of this. And I mean, what doesn't want to listen to case where we have a phone psychic, Miss Cleo, on the line? So I will be doing that one a little bit later. Basically the rest of the show could be what in the Walmart rapture, because I have some questions. A naked madman breaks Vietnam veteran's leg, but the victim ends the attack with 3 freedom seeds. I've got at least 15 questions about this. And what the hell? An elderly Vietnam War veteran turned the tables on a naked madman who broke both of his legs, sending some freedom seeds into the attacker and taking his life in the Los Angeles Studio City neighborhood, according to both police and witnesses. And thank you, Kathy Michael, for being a member for 9 months. Good frigid morning to you as well. It is freezing. Now, the maniac had driven to a suburban block on Tiguaga Avenue Friday morning before he stripped completely nude on the sidewalk and started screaming nonsense as he broke into a woman's home, police say in an interview with, local news. Now, security footage from the house across the street shows the man trying to break into a house while holding a garden sign and yelling unintelligibly. Now, he did manage to break into the home and chase the terrified tenant out, according to police. Her landlord, a 79-year-old... And Captain Kern, we've had a YouTube baby! I will not be paying child support, but I will be sending cards. I went out for milk and cigs. Just kidding. Thank you. What in the name of Walmart rapture do we have a naked man going after a nearly 80-year-old man and breaking both of his legs? And then, talk about tough. You have 2 broken legs and this veteran manages to take out the trash euphemistically, allegedly, in Minecraft. Now, her landlord, the 79-year-old veteran, heard her screams and ran out of his home to help. Yeah, and you know what? Let's talk about the masculinity that was showed there. I mean, we want to talk about all the time about toxic masculinity. Real masculinity is hearing someone in terror, in fear, and running towards it. And if we don't teach men how to become shields instead of swords, you can't just, think out these instincts. Little boys, men want to either protect or destroy. And if you teach young boys, like I teach my young boys, that you are a shield. Yes, you stand up. Yes, you don't take any stuff, but you're a shield for smaller people. And we're running out of those people because we're teaching men that any sort of inclination to be protective or, anything is toxic. Well, thank goodness this man had a little bit of masculinity and swift healing for him. And Los Angeles, you better not freaking charge this man. Now, he tells the suspect to leave, and he told him, I have a force multiplier. I will use it, LAPD Captain Warner Castillo said in an interview. Now, the naked man slammed the veteran to the ground, fracturing both of his legs, Castillo said. The veteran then opened fire as the attacker approached him again, witnesses said. I looked over and the naked guy was on the ground and the older guy was on the ground. He shot him 2 more times, a neighbor told ABC News. Now, the veteran was rushed to the hospital and has undergone successful surgeries to repair his legs. Hopefully he makes it out of here without being in a wheelchair for the rest of his life, Castillo told reporters. Now, the incident has left the neighborhood on edge, but many have hailed the veteran as a hero. I think this is a textbook example of self-defense, and I really, really hope he doesn't face charges, said his neighbor Betsy Weiss to CBS News. Now, any charges for the veteran will be decided by LA District Attorney Nathan J. Hochman. So, Definitely don't know what's going to happen with this, but I will be livid if this man is charged with anything. That being said, it is LA, so expecting logic out of California, I don't know. A beloved pre-med student and sorority member lost her life by a hit-and-run driver while jogging. And this is probably going to be another big case. We are seeing more of that, more of these cases of unfortunate hit and runs. And we definitely do. This is maybe a trial we need to be on the lookout for once they do find a suspect. A beloved college student was struck and killed by a hit-and-run driver while jogging in Kansas, and her body wasn't discovered for nearly 10 hours, according to authorities. Elsa McGrain, 20, was jogging near the Lawrence Regional Airport around 6 p.m. Thursday when she was hit by a truck, according to the Douglas County Sheriff's Office. Now, McGrain's body wasn't found until 3:30 5 a.m. on Friday after a passerby discovered her and called the police, according to reports. Now, after processing the scene, authorities determined that she had died while running in the area. Cops later located the suspected vehicle, previously identified in photos as an all-white pickup truck, and arrested the driver allegedly responsible for the fatal crash, and that was updated on Sunday. Now, William Ray Klinger, 36, has been booked on suspicion of involuntary manslaughter and failed to appear for charges for the hit and run. The suspect did flee the scene after allegedly striking McGrain. Now, Klinger is currently being held without bond. Now, McGrain was originally from Omaha, Nebraska, and was a pre-med student at the University of Kansas, slated to graduate in 2026. She was also a member of the Chi Omega sorority, where she served on the executive board as the house manager, according to a heartbreaking tribute posted by her sorority sisters on Instagram. And Rickles said, lectured for opening a door for a 20-something. Told her I had no choice. My grandmother would leave me unable to sit for a day or two if I didn't. Yeah, I remember getting in a lot of trouble when I was first working retail because I had this, look, I get it. I get you don't want to be called ma'am. I get it. But it is ingrained into me to call anyone out in public, you know, who is tangentially possibly older than me, ma'am and sir. And I had this one cantankerous older woman who just, don't call me ma'am. Every time you call me ma'am and I tell you not to. And I'm like, sorry, miss. Of course, this was before Mo got in touch with her inner rage and inner child who had kind of amalgamated into one. So I was so meek and timid. I was like, I'm so sorry. I will never call you that again. Today I would have probably said, would you like me to call you Cahoont? I can do Cahoont. I mean, I'm fine with it. That being said, this is horrific. And, you know, I don't like bringing up these stories, but they are ones that are definitely going to be coming down the pipeline as far as trials and, you know, hoping that this family gives the love and support, and these college students that have lost friend, you know, that is like their found family will get the love and support that they need. Hopefully the college is having, you know, grief counselors and people that will be able to help them, because grief club is never a club you want to join. And unfortunately, we all get our invites into it. Now, authorities have thanked residents who sent numerous tips leading to Klinger's arrest and confirmed that they are now working with the Douglas County District Attorney's Office on charges and moving forward on the investigation. The Sheriff's Office thanks local law enforcement agencies for their assistance in this investigation, as well as members of the community who responded with possible tips and shared information. The Sheriff's Office continues to extend our deepest sympathies to Elsa McGrain's family members and friends during this tragic time, and we ask the community to continue to support them. So definitely, you know, if you do thoughts and prayers, keep this family and other families, you know, that we talk about in your thoughts and prayers. Now, I do know that probably Steph, the Alter Nerd, Lotus Eaters, and a bunch of other people are more closely entwined with UK, but this is definitely big headlines and something that is slightly political, but also pretty cogent right now, or at least pretty big. Now, BBC head Tim Davies has resigned over doctored footage of Trump's January 6th speech in a documentary. Now, what the BBC did was absolutely egregious. They basically doctored two statements that were made an hour apart to make it look like him lumpum, wanna, basically egregiously misrepresented something that President Trump said. Again, like 'em, lump 'em, this isn't the channel for that, but journalistically, they completely misrepresented what the leader of our current administration said previously. Now, this is something that's big news because the BBC, UK residents are forced to pay a license in order to fund the BBC. And if the BBC is putting out this false, defamatory information or grossly misediting things, then it really does bring shame and sort of test the validity of anything that the BBC is putting out. And this isn't the first scandal that the BBC has had. There was a Glastonbury music festival in which one of the kind of performers had put out some pretty anti-Semitic stuff and it went out live to a bunch of people. No one was held accountable. There's a lot more stuff going on in the BBC. I would check out Steph the Alter Nerd or Lotus Eaters because they're going to have maybe a more personalized take on it. But this is something that is definitely shaking things up all over the world. Now, the Director General of the BBC has resigned Sunday amid a scandal after British state broadcaster had shared doctored footage of President Trump speaking on January 6th. Now, Tim Davie, who headed up the publicly funded media outlet for about 5 years, said he was taking ultimate responsibility for recent mistakes in a statement published by the BBC. Like all public organizations, the BBC is not perfect, and we must always be open, transparent, and accountable. While not being the only reason, the current debate around BBC News has understandably contributed to my decision, he said in the statement, which did not mention President Trump by name. Overall, the BBC is delivering well, but there have been some mistakes made, and as Director General, I have to ultimately take responsibility, he added. Now he has resigned, and his resignation and that of the CEO of BBC News, Deborah Turness, came after it was revealed that the BBC's flagship news program, Panorama, had sliced two clips of President Trump speaking on January 6, 2021, implying that he had, unleashed chaos on the Capitol. Now, the program, which aired a week before the 2024 presidential election, completely misled viewers by showing him basically wanting riotous things to happen at the Capitol. Basically, they had 1 second, I've got to go switch my earbuds, so I'll be right back. The stupid things weren't charging, so I had to move them to a whole outlet, and I was like, come on, last through the entire stream. Obviously, that did not happen. Now, again, you guys, I don't know all of the inner workings of, the BBC. So Steph, the Alter Nerd, and the Lotus Eaters, and maybe Black Belt Barrister will have more of a UK perspective because obviously I'm from, the Midwest and may not understand some of the nuances involved in the BBC. So definitely check those guys out for a more kind of UK perspective on this, but this is something that is a big shakeup, and the BBC has not been without scandal and bias. allegations in the past. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on if you're interested in any of this. Now, not as fear-prone, but definitely something good to know if you have littles or know anyone that does have littles. Again, I never bring these up to scare you guys like mainstream media, but to give you knowledge in case you or someone you know may have bought this product and to have a heads up about it. Now, By Heart baby formula has been recalled amid infant botulism investigation. By Heart, a next-generation baby nutrition company, has announced a voluntary recall on some of its batches of powdered infant formula after federal authorities have linked the product to an infant botulism outbreak. Now, in separate statements on November 8th, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said that 2 lots of By Heart Whole Nutrition infant formula had been recalled. Now, the CDC said that 13 cases of infant botulism across 10 states were linked to this particular formula. Now, all cases have resulted in hospitalizations, according to the CDC, but no deaths as of November 9th. So, if you know someone that is using formula, maybe just give them a heads up, see if they've got this, but don't go like scaring new moms, okay? Now, the formula was distributed online and nationwide, according to the FDA. The recalled formula does make up about less than 1% of all infant formula sold in the United States and doesn't raise shortage concerns. Now, the CDC said that the Infant Botulism Treatment and Prevention Program, part of the California Department of Public Health, is investigating the outbreak and how it was linked to the infant formula. Now, the state program, which developed and provided the only source of infant botulism treatment in the world, alerted the CDC of a possible outbreak. Now, testing leftover formula is underway, said the FDA, and results are expected in the upcoming weeks. Now, By Heart has denied a link to its products in a statement posted to its website, said, quote, "No related toxins have been found in any By Heart product. Still, we have decided to take the step to remove any potential risk from the market and ensure the safety and well-being of babies everywhere who use By Heart, including our own." So there are 2 lots, lot 206 VAP, and definitely if you know anyone that uses this, send them these lots. It didn't happen in California. It seems like the only, testing for infant botulism is in California. Now, that being said, the cases have been found in Arizona, California, Illinois, Minnesota, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Texas, and Washington. Now, California, Illinois, and Texas each saw 2 cases, according to the FDA's November 8th announcement. Now, most infants with infant botulism will initially develop constipation, poor feeding, and loss of head control, along with difficulty swallowing, according to the CDC. Now, if left untreated, infants may experience progressive flaccid paralysis that can lead to breathing difficulties and require weeks of hospitalization. So, again, don't go crazy. Don't, lose your mind. But if you know anyone that is using formula, let them know that this might be something they need to look at. But, don't go hysterical, But it is definitely something to be on the lookout for. And it's fairly, dangerous. So that's why I bring these up. Well, Netflix is about to go back to in-store. I mean, who doesn't remember, or was it Redbox? I couldn't remember if it's Redbox or Netflix, but I remember when you would get like the CDs and then you'd send them back. Yeah, who had to pay $14 for Blades of Glory that got lost? Yes, that's right. I had to rebuy a copy of Blades of Glory. I'm sure the world is happy we have an extra copy of that. Get an exclusive first look at Netflix House, where Wednesday comes to life. Well, in 2025, it's not enough for streamers like Netflix to dominate our watching TV at home. They want to come, or they want us to, go outside of our home and meet them in person. The streaming giant has freed itself from the TV stream in your living room and is going to your local mall. Well, at least if you live in Philadelphia, and for a few weeks to come in Dallas as well. Meet Netflix House, a shiny new attraction the company describes as an immersive experience where you can walk onto replica sets from shows like Stranger Things, Wednesday, and play miniature golf inspired by Love is Blind. Now, Netflix House is like a theme park, or Hot Topic and arcade. It's a multi-level fun house decorated and decked out like a dozen of the streamers' most popular titles, with a first full-service restaurant, merchandise store, movie theater, and 4 major attractions, each for a fee, of course. I was about to say, I know we have malls, but this might be a way to get people back. Who knows? There's a 9-hole mini golf, virtual reality, and escape room, along with a carnival-style arcade and interactive mysteries. Well, there you go. I mean, if you want to go hang out with Netflix and all that, I mean, it looks pretty cool. Not gonna lie, it's inside. I would probably go, but I'm not going to Philadelphia. So maybe when it reaches Indiana, I'll go. But before that, I'm not making my own trip to go drive my happy behind out there. Well, you all want them. These are the stories that will make you think, maybe the alien invasion is okay. But I go searching through the internet for these stories so you guys can scratch your heads and think, what in the Walmart rapture?
The G-Keep Grove, thou glowing shrine of thirst traps, scams, and dollar signs. We chant in tones both grim and low, for virtue fled a long time ago. Kyrie eleison, Christe descendat, final form Jesus return in wrath. With 6-pack glistening, sword in hand, he cometh swift to cleanse the land.
Y'all, I foretold this. Call me Miss Cleo and get me a crystal ball. The time of the Starbucks bear apocalypse is upon us. Starbucks customer claims that an employee took every limited edition barista cup, leaving customers empty-handed. The bear wars are among us. First it was the Stanley Scourge, now it's the Bear Wars. And sadly it's not two, leather bears fighting in an oil pit. No, it's these stupid Starbucks cups. Now, one person online is claiming that employees at their local Starbucks kept the brand's latest viral limited edition holiday items for themselves. On Thursday, November 6th, Indianapolis. We're first in the ledge. Indianapolis. Of course it would be Indianapolis. Based TikTok user Cole Insiders claimed in a video that employees at their local Kroger store took all the available stock of the new glass Starbucks Barista Cold Cup from the in-store Starbucks location before customers could even buy them. First world problems. We need Sally Struthers. For just 36 cents a day, you can make sure that every adult baby has their own sippy cup. In the arms of the angel. And then just poor Starbucks women who have to, carry their stupid Stanley everywhere. This is not a Stanley. This is like a $9 Walmart. And it doesn't have curse words on it, which... Why? Now, that being said, if you are losing your doggone mind, would I like to have one of these? Sure. Am I going to go Black Friday ham to get one? No. Am I going to spend $100 bajillion on something for eBay? No. And thank you, Little Miss Red Velvet. Howdy, howdy. Now, the cup, which retails at just under $30 per Starbucks websites, is one of several new holiday items that the coffee chain introduced this year. Now, it quickly sold out on November 6th, causing a nationwide frenzy. Now, in their video, at Cole Insider said they knew their chances of securing one of the Barista cups were already slim because the Kroger location allegedly said they only had 6 of the cups in stock, but they didn't specify which Kroger location. Geist, Fishers, Zionsville. Look, I'm guessing this is in the Richie Rich northern part of Indianapolis, but I could be profiling. That being said, I don't think the Starbucks in Washington Street worried about that. So I don't know, but if you are that pissed that you are making a TikTok about an adult sippy cup, I need you to go out and touch grass. I mean, that's the thing. Do you really need a $30 adult sippy cup? No. I mean, do I really need a tumbler that has all the curse words on it? Probably not. Will I be making it myself? Probably. We're in Indiana. We have mason jars. Get over it. Or go on eBay and get one if it's that daggone, important for you. I mean, I just like this one because where can I sign up? I am ready to be a grumpy tour guide, although I don't know anything about art history. So this art museum's grumpy guide treats visitors like crap and they love it. I try to make them feel as ignorant as possible. Oh my God, where did the perfect job? How was I not told that this is a perfect job for me? This should have been on my LinkedIn like the moment I was born. There's an art to guiding museum tours, and this guide is one of Hati Artist, a staffer at Dusseldorf Kunstenplatz Arts Museum, puts on a twice-monthly grumpy guide tour in which the surly instructor deliberately insults and belittles his guests to their utter bemusement. Joseph Lennox, a highly unpleasant tour, cost around $8 United. Well, I'll spend $8 to get made fun of. I mean, I'll do it for free on the internet too. And they've reportedly sold out every session since they launched in May, with bookings well into 2026. Now, during the 70-minute walking tour, Joseph, not a real person, but an alter ego of performance artist Carl Brandy, wags his finger in guests' face and admonishes them for using their phones or taking a seat, and mocks their ignorance while going through the museum. A German mocking people? Really? Playing to type? Just kidding. I never insult visitors directly based on their personality or their appearance, but I still insult them as a group. Did we just become best friends? My contempt is directed at the inferred ignorance that might not even exist, but I try to make them feel as ignorant as possible. Again, why isn't this job show up on my personality test in high school? Mortician came up, but not this job? Now, Brandy credited the attraction's popularity to the emotional ride of his off-putting presentation. We all know comedy or cabaret formats where the performer's bad mood or aggressive attitude is the key to the show. It's just not something we're used to seeing in museums, he explained. And unlike in a comedy show, there's no barrier between the character and the audience here. Now, Brandy even gave Joseph a whole, character backstory. He's a distant relative of John Wilhelm von Platz, and Elector Palpatine, whose vast collection provides the most of the artwork on display. Now Joseph appears disgusted by society's misgivings about art, such as the notion that it's only entertainment. Now the audience comes to realize that his character's severe approach comes from his ruptured alter ego. Again, how in the world did I not find this job? Should have been born in Germany. Anywho, Mo not sending in her resume. Watch any of my streams. We'll make fun of everyone. Try not to be an asshat, though. Again, my school guidance counselor should have told me that these jobs were available, because I would have applied myself much more. Well, a runaway dog scarpered traffic in a Boston tunnel for a bit before cops were able to come in and save the dog. A runaway dog caused rush hour chaos in Boston after wandering onto a road of a busy tunnel. Now, surveillance footage from the Massachusetts Department of Transportation showed a black and white dog frolicking toward oncoming traffic on the left shoulder of Ted Williams Tunnel Thursday morning. Now, as multiple cars and trucks sped by, narrowly missing the dog, the furry friend seemed completely unfazed by the danger. Now, Massachusetts police finally arrived and attempted to coax the animal out of the road and into a back seat of a police cruiser. It did take 6 state police vehicles parked in the middle of the interstate to assist in the unusually adorable emergency. Now, traffic was momentarily completely stopped thanks to, well, the pupper's shenanigans. Video shows how several civilian cars stopped behind the flashing police lights as an officer traced the dog around the road, and even a school bus was stopped as they were trying to get, the delinquent doggo out of the street. Now, a state trooper was finally able to corral the stray into the backseat of his car. The dog didn't appear to have a collar on. According to the Humane World for Animals, stopping for a stray in the road can be dangerous, so it's important to proceed cautiously. If you see a dog like the one prancing on Boston's roadway, turn on hazard lights and pull over completely to the side of the road. And assess whether the animal looks dangerous or aggressive before attempting to restrain it and lure it into your vehicle. These all seem like common sense things that I am sure people have not done, which is why they're having to spell them out in crayon. Now, police or animal control can also help get the wanderer to safety, whether or not it does, regardless of if it has a tag or not. Now, it's unclear who called the Massachusetts police for assistance, at the tunnel. The tunnel is one of 3 major highway tunnels built in conjunction with the Central Artery Tunnel Project, and it's about 1.6 miles long and serves as a passageway for thousands of commuters from southern to eastern Boston. So I'm glad that the doggo was okay and, hey, they figured it out. Yeah, he's just wandering. He is like Fry. Fry would be like, oncoming traffic. No worries. Did no one bring a hot dog? Or a chicken nugget? The dog's like, now we're going to play. Oh God, that is like Fry. Because when Fry would get out, he's like, I is playing. I will never come back to you. Screw you. Down with the down with the owners. And then you would bring out a hot dog. I is in love with you again. I love you. I will come home if you bring me all the hot dogs. And thank you, Hey Joe. Yeah, I just decided to wear a hat today. I was like, please, sir, can we have some more spring? I feel like I'm in, well, and it does feel like Siberia. So I was like, it's Siberia. Well, have you ever wondered what your horniness means for your health? Yeah, I do have a place locally that I'm going to try an open mic night, hopefully when I start feeling better. So hopefully the winter weather will hold off and I can start feeling a little bit more froggy and go out and do some more fun stuff. Should doctors start talking to you about not only your blood pressure, your breathing, your smoking, but your horniness? Could your lack of libido be a sign of health issues? I mean, maybe. I'm not a doctorologist, but I can only imagine. Okay, y'all, I'm just imagining my sweet, and he looks so sweet. He looks like 12 years old. So I'm imagining my sweet Doogie Howser doctor trying to ask me about my smexy time habits. And I feel like he just couldn't handle it. I feel like I would scar that boy. I don't think he's ready for that level of knowledge. Libido at zero, horniness or lack thereof could be a key indicator of well-being. Tennessee Williams wrote that the opposite of death is desire, and it would seem that the playwright might have been onto something. Experts are agreeing that a low sex drive can indicate a slew of concerning health issues. Through temperature, though temperature, heart rate, blood pressure, and respiratory rates are considered the four main vital health signs, there is an argument being made about how much you want it if it needs to be taken into consideration too. I can't imagine, again, look, I lied. Listen, doctors, let's be real. You know your patient's lying. We know we're lying when we tell you we eat vegetables. Sorry, doctor. Look, I'm never going to eat a Brussels sprout, even if you roll it in bacon. I'll eat the bacon from around it, leave the Brussels sprout. That being said, I don't need to talk to my doctor about this. That's like talking to my pastor about this, which I definitely don't need to be doing. Again, because I'm just not sure he's ready for this. But no. Libido is commonly defined as the biological need for some smexy time that shows up as, smex-seeking behavior, and its intensity varies across people and over time, according to Dr. Jessica Shepard. I've been married, ma'am. You don't have to tell me that. How strongly it affects a lot of the systems in your brain and body. It's an integral part of hormones, stress, psychology, vascular health, sleep, mood, relationship quality, and, just overall life. Now, Shepard noted that sexual satisfaction is associated with better health status, fewer physical symptoms, and higher psychological well-being. The doc notes that it's crucial to get a handle on, your sexual health, as it has a direct bearing on longevity. Observational data in older adults showed that better health is associated with more years of the smexy time. So, you don't have to do your crunches, but get the horizontal mambo in once in a while. Now, a study. Why is it I'm never asked to join these studies? Why is it I'm never given government funding? I would test my horniness and have the government pay for it. Damn it, I need to start writing study ideas. A study published in the Journal of PLOS1 suggests that men with low libido are almost twice as likely to suffer an early death. As for what your low sex drive or your partner's might mean, there are plenty of possible health issues worth exploring. Hormonal fluctuations can definitely cause libido issues for both men and women. Now, typically women have hormonal fluctuations during pregnancy, breastfeeding, and menopause. We're just never not slave to our hormones, okay? Mental health problems can also, plummet in the, wanting to have the smexy times, but also some medications for those things can definitely decrease all of that desire. Serious conditions that may cause, heart flow issues, diabetes, heart disease, obesity, sleep apnea, or chronic illnesses. Now, also hypo means under, so hyper increased, which I'm sure no one would be upset for hyperactive. Well, I'm sure someone would be upset because people are upset about everything. So hypo in medicine means low. So there is actually a, disorder that if it's persistent for more than 6 months, you might be able to go to your doctor. So as much as I say, my doctor would probably faint over dead, if you are experiencing problems, look, your doctors haven't heard anything crazier than what you're going to tell them. Believe me, I worked in a medical office. There is something about this face that says, tell me about your, schmeckle issues. I don't know what it is, but there is something about this face in a medical setting that makes people want to tell all their secrets. So as much as I joke, if you do want to ask your doctor about these things, don't be embarrassed. They have not heard it before. Okay. They're humans and it is a part of life. So if you do want to go get help, find a good doctor and talk to them about that, because definitely you're the only one that can advocate and change anything in your mental and medical health. So if it's something that's important to you, don't let embarrassment or, possibly having a kind of weird conversation with your doctor stop you. It's not going to be something they haven't heard of, and, they might be able to help. So as much as I say, my poor sweet little doctor would probably have a heart attack, I know that, deep down he would try to help if I went in with that. Don't mess with this mom. A South Carolina mother on maternity leave nabbed a 12-foot alligator for her family and plans to turn it into a rug. What now? Also, new rug idea for the office. A South Carolina mom of two took out a 12-foot alligator on a hunt with her family during the tail end of her maternity leave and plans to use the carcass for a full-body rug. I mean, I can understand doing that with a polar bear, but an alligator just doesn't seem like it'd be all that comfy. I mean, because of all those bumpy things on the back, that just seems like a terrible rug idea. Brandy Livingston, who gave birth to her second child just 5 months ago, earned the nickname Gator Girl after a passerby posted videos of her family rolling through a McDonald's drive-thru. Oh my God. Did this happen in India? Only in America do you go to a McDonald's and see the carcass of a gator. Thank God this was not at our local Walmart or local McDonald's, because the youngest, most feral would be asking when we're going on a gator hunt. So the family rolling through a McDonald's drive-thru with a hulking alligator carcass in the back of their truck, as you do. We had a lot of eyes on us. People were waving and giving a thumbs up. Even the workers at McDonald's came out to see it, Brittany told local news. Now, Brittany and her husband, Matt Livingston, were planning to the hunt on and off again for the last 5 years. In South Carolina, alligator hunting tags are awarded through a seasonal lottery system run by the state's Department of Natural Resources. It's overrun each year with more than 12,000 people trying to apply for the slim amount of 1,400 tags available. Again, why are you going to make a rug? This just doesn't seem like a comfy rug. I can understand boots. I can understand handbag. I do not understand alligator rug. Now the denials came like clockwork, but Brittany was finally called this year and wasn't going to let the opportunity to go to waste, though she admitted that gator hunting isn't exactly something most people do on maternity leave. I mean, I didn't know it was a thing, but now I'm going to do it, although I'm not going to be on maternity leave. Now the couple did secure a 12-foot, nearly 600-pound gator, affectionately named Chomp Norris, after many grueling hours hunting it through the marshlands in September. The hunting couple assured us that they will make use of the entire gator to help their children understand the importance of honoring nature, even though their 3-year-old son thought that their bounty was a dinosaur. We wouldn't hunt anything if we weren't going to eat it. We respect wildlife just as much, and we want it to still be here for our kids. Now, the Livingstons said that they will make a full-body rug out of the alligator and harvest the meat to cook for gator sausages and snack sticks. Gator nuggets, anyone? They already dropped the gator off at a family business that's been processing wild game for generations. Now the workers are able to take the carcass and make more than 100 pounds of meat products that were preserved for, them to use. Now, alligator hunting season only lasts from September to October. During the most recent period, only 438 alligators in the Palmetto State were harvested. I mean, throwing my hat in for next year. Mr. Mo, what are we doing on date night? Gator hunting. Now, in something that I think has done a miracle, and I do mean a legitimate miracle, because y'all, I don't understand the foosball. I don't understand it. But I might understand more now. Because you guys, this might have explained it to me in a way I can understand.
Good, Lex. Pick it up. Pick it up. Run with it.
God, the 90s were so awesome.
Run.
Yes, yes. No, 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 no,
No.
no.
Yeah. Go. Yeah.
Sound familiar? A burst of joy, then a painful moan. More joy, more pain, all building toward one final moment of ecstasy or utter despair. This is the life.
Well, I do hear those sounds, but neither Mr. Moe and I watch football. So make of that what you will.
Of the football fan. And if you're like me, who happens to be in love with a football fan, this is part of your life too. I was a football airhead. I knew nothing about the game or communicating with its adoring followers. My ignorance was neither charming nor amusing. It's hard to realize how really...
You guys, this is so funny for me because my mom is the biggest football fan. I have spent all of my life in a house and I still don't understand football. I still do not understand football.
really big a football field is. It's big, almost as long as most
Super
shopping
big.
malls. Imagine throwing a package from Macy's to Sears and having your friend catch it. Now,
Is it sad that I finally understand football after this? This has to be the most Mo-centric thing because we're making me understand it by using shopping, and I can totally pay attention.
imagine while you're trying to throw the goods, the 11 biggest, strongest shoppers in the mall are charging at you, determined to bring you down.
I've been to Black Friday. That has in fact happened. This is real life. I am finally understanding football in a whole new way.
Let's say you're the X's and the other team is the O's. We'll call you the kisses and the other guys the hugs. You can run the ball or pass the ball or both to get your 10 yards. Let me give you
You guys, legitimately, I learned more about football from this than my mom sitting down and trying to explain it for damn near 30 years.
an analogy. Let's say you're playing a game in which you're given a list of 10 swimsuits. You've got to find all 10 swimsuits that fit you in your size
I'm
on
listening.
clearance sale, and you can only go into 4 stores.
She just said my favorite word, clearance. I'm gonna love football now. I'm gonna be like, 10 more swimsuits, 10 more swimsuits.
To accomplish the mission. If you do this, you get another list of 10 more sale items to shop for in another 4 stores. In football logic, you'd say, first store. Have fun.
And let me get that for you. Copy, and then I can paste that in here. Yeah, I have found all the videos, but you guys, legitimately, I understand football more, which is not good. I almost sent my mom a text like, Mom, I'm learning football first, finally. Because honest to goodness, I still don't understand football. But now I want some swimsuits, which probably wasn't what they were going for, but clearance swimsuits? That's basically all I heard. Well, Holly Weird is coming out with another thing. Now, it does look like Jeremy Renner is back in, well, the hot seat. A filmmaker is saying that Jeremy Renner sent explicit photos and threatened to call ICE on him, as you do. Avengers star Jeremy Renner and star of the HBO series Mayor of Kingstown is facing allegations of misconduct from a filmmaker named Yiz Zhu. Now, after an extensive series of posts on Instagram last week, Zhao alleges that beginning in June, Renner sent a string of unwanted and unsolicited pornographic photos after a relationship over calls and text. According to Zhao, the first intimate physical encounter was not consensual. Now, later interactions became consensual, so it does look like this is going to be another Me Too, kind of thing. Definitely look and, see if I would look to see if there's a lawsuit coming out. Generally, these things end up in a lawsuit. So we'll have more Holly Weird to look at, adult pretenders, yelling at each other about stuff. But there you go, in the weird world of Hollywood. Now, in all of the redonkulous and stupid, and please, for the love of God, grow up, Shameless fired Teen Vogue staff sets up a GoFundMe to beg strangers for money to pay for their cars and rent, despite receiving a generous severance package. Now, a group of laid-off Teen Vogue staffers have launched a GoFundMe to pay for their car and rent payments, despite receiving generous severance packages from the publication. Ex-Politic editor Lex McAnum started a fundraiser. Teen Vogue should not have a politics. Do you want to know what teens really want to know? What looks cute? Why is their boyfriend not texting them back? And, well, not all the slutty stuff you put in there, mostly for the moms, because holy crap. Now, they started the fundraiser after being given the boot on Monday with six fellow staffers. Now, the style editor, Ayana Ishmael, culture editor, Caitlin McNabb, features director, Brittany McNamara, and design director, Emily Zimris, along with visuals editor, B. Oyster, and editorial assistant, Sky Alvarez, all received the boot. Now, a note on the fundraiser highlights the need for immediate donations to cover expenses like rent and utility, medical bills, car payments, relocation costs, and purchases like personal computers. Now, a spokesperson for Condé Nast confirmed that the employees did receive severance packages, but did not state what they included. Now, the group has secured nearly $29,000 in donations as of Wednesday afternoon, just short of its $35,000 goal. Yeah, Teen Vogue, I was always more of a teen. That being said, you guys did nothing but propagandize to young people, and then when that wasn't profitable because young people don't want to be preached to, you got fired. But this was probably not something that you were unaware of. I don't take joy in people losing their jobs, but it's not like you were probably unaware that the writing was on the wall, that print media has been declining for years and years. It's not like you didn't see these things possibly coming, that the use of AI and more things. I mean, I don't want anyone to lose their job, but putting up a GoFundMe when you did get a severance, I find it icky. Ireland, I have some questions. A lone lion, quote unquote, was seen roaming in Ireland, and it sparked a police probe, but it was actually a dog sporting a fresh haircut. Okay, how much Guinness had you had to think that this was a real lion? Because, look, I have nearsightedness and the ability to see just about anything absurd, and I can tell that's not a lion. Well, a lion-like creature that sparked a full police investigation after it was seen wandering through the woods of Ireland turned out to be a dog with a snazzy new do. An ironic name, and, cops announced Tuesday. Locals in County Clare, located in Western Ireland, thought that they were hallucinating when they spotted a shaggy, tan-colored creature with a lush mane and tufted tail padding through a wooded area. Now, for all intents and purposes, the creature looked a bit like a lion from a distance. Now, many in the sleepy countryside called the bizarre sightings in to the Gardaí, or Ireland's national police. Now, the agency launched an investigation on October 29th, but soon discovered that the culprit was a Newfoundland dog with a fresh haircut that gave an uncanny resemblance to the fearsome king of the jungle. Gardaí from Killoy have concluded that a recent video of a lion-like, cryptid roaming around the woods in East Clare was in fact a very friendly dog named Mouse. I can't. Officers even stopped to pose with their furry suspect, who crowded close with his tail tucked between his leg, as if accepting guilt for the fright mistakenly caused by his brand new haircut. The Guardi even posted a poll on its X account to see how many people truly believed that Mouse was a lion, and 27 answered yes. 27%. Ireland, that 27%, please come to the front of the congregation because you need to go to Dr. Tavel's, okay? Now, animal welfare advocates struggled to see the humor in Mouse's butchered grooming, as they noted that Newfoundland dogs typically don't have their coats shaved, especially not down to their skin. Unless it's for medical reasons, shaving a Newfoundland coat is generally not recommended. Their thick double coat helps regulate temperature and protects their skin. Removing it can lead to sunburn, overheating, and, okay, Ireland. Ireland is the place we get sunburns. Now, I'm not discounting that there may in fact be, potentiality for sunburns if you do take away a natural protectant. I'm just thinking sunny Ireland where, fog and rain. I mean, I'm pretty sure I would be safe in Ireland, given my lack of any sort of skin pigmentation. So I think the Newfoundland's going to be okay, but I can understand the recommendation for not shaving if there are actual, health things that the double layer coat does, help with. Now, that was from Siobhan McAfee, the Director of Operations at the Ulster Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. So not having a Newfoundland and not being a groomer, I have no idea what to tell you as per the lion cut. Now, lions are not native to Ireland. Thank you, New York Post. I wasn't aware. Because of its cool, rainy climate, nearly the exact opposite of the deserts they call home. And they're only found in the island nation in captivity in larger zoos. While Irish residents aren't permitted to own large cats today, there was a lion tamer who kept her prized lioness in her Dublin home in 1951. It wound up escaping and mauling a teenager before it was pulled down by the police. Yeah, keep your automatic panthers at home. Now, in August 2024, an unlucky keeper became trapped inside a pen filled with prowling lions at the zoo in Northern Ireland. The employee did escape unscathed, and the Belfast City Council, which owns the zoo, launched an investigation. Yeah, I have questions. The 27% that were like, yeah, that's a lion. That is Simba right there. Questions. Now, again, this is probably something that you're going to want to go to Steph the Altar Nerd for, because she's got a better kind of grasp on the royal family. But it does look like with Prince Andrew being stripped of his titles, he might be in line for criminal punishment for some of the things that he's done. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor reportedly, quote unquote, toast as he risks jail time amid a fresh probe. So it does look like everything is sort of going down the toilet for, former Prince Andrew. Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly known as Prince Andrew, is under investigation for financial misconduct, while his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, faces scrutiny for alleged charity fund misuse. Now, the former Duke and Duchess of York, reportedly living separate lives at a royal lodge, said they're in fear for their safety as security tightens. Now, according to reports, both of them may leave the UK amid mounting pressure, with Andrew expected to move from the Sandringham estate, and Sarah not really sure about where she's going next. Maybe to the guy that really liked her feet in the early 90s. I mean, foot guy has to be somewhere. Now, the former Duke of York is under investigation by London authorities and could potentially face jail time, while his ex-wife is also being scrutinized over alleged misuse of charity funds. And that report does suggest that they may both be forced to leave the UK. Now, again, I don't know the ins and outs of this. The UK justice system is very much different than the United States. So I would catch up with Steph the Altar Nerd. She'll be able to kind of walk you through that without, my kind of confusedness on the whole idea. But it does look like he is facing increased scrutiny and possibly, serious financial allegations. Again, they are just allegations. He is assumed innocent until, adjudicated guilty, but it definitely looks like there is more pain coming for Andrew. And I don't have a dog in the fight on this one, so maybe I personally don't think he seems like a really good person, but I've never met him, so I try to stay out of that one. Now, who the hell couldn't read the room on this? Now, who was the thinking enthusiast that thought this was a good idea? Now, I do understand that the teachers are claiming that this is in no way related to Charlie Kirk, but and I get that they might have had this idea prior to, but no one read the room. I mean, you guys are teaching and you think you'd make the correlation between why this probably wouldn't be a good look. This is like dressing up as a Titanic zombie the year after it crashed. One photo and a deluge of threats inside an Arizona high school that was turned upside down because of this picture. Now, they're going to go political for this. I'm going with you couldn't read the room. Regardless of how you feel about Charlie Kirk, and I know not everyone likes him, you can't tell me you saw your costumes and didn't think, hey, this might be a scotch inappropriate. Now, Cigna High School Principal Kim Middleton woke up early last Saturday to urgent messages from district administrators. They told her to call immediately. Now, a photo in which Cigna math teachers wore matching white t-shirts on Halloween stained with big red blotches, reading "Problem Solved," was circulating rapidly online. Now, people were claiming that the educators were mocking, Charlie Kirk's unfortunate passing. Now, the district quickly announced that the t-shirts were a math joke and unrelated to Kirk. Again, you have to be able to read a room. You cannot tell me you didn't think about this. I mean, if I am a fake redhead that, barely understands how to people, and I figured this is a terrible idea, you can't tell me that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 math teachers couldn't figure out that this is probably not a good look. Again, I understand it's totally unrelated, but you can't fault people for thinking, that looks really, really sus. Now, in the following days, the high school and its staff alleged that they received more than 3,000 hateful messages, including dozens of, unaliving threats. Now, again, you do not contact people on the internet because they are thinking enthusiast. We do not threaten people. We do not that. But come on, read the effing room. Are you kidding me? Were all of you so incredibly, optically myopic that you couldn't see that this was going to happen, that this might, not be the best look? Now, this did happen, that teachers stayed home and sheriff's deputies were forced to upgrade their patrols on campuses, and confused students asked if they were safe at school. So, to the asshats that sent in stupid threats, you're an asshat. To the teachers, could you read a room and maybe, just exercise half a fraction of common sense? I mean, I've never used trigonometry in my real life, but I've used common sense a whole flippin' flapjack of a lot. So you all couldn't have done that. So yeah, I say, I call BS on this, and I say, regardless, one of these geniuses should have been able to figure out that this was definitely going to be taken the wrong way. Well, buckle in and strap up, y'all, because we have a name and shame of some of the most horrible people I have ever seen in my entire life. And I am not joking. This is like the Monster Monday edition. So buckle in. I'm going to warm up Lord Chippy because we got some naming and shaming big time to do, you guys.
They're our skin, they steal our grace. These monsters wear a human face. No gavel, no badge, no throne, no crown can stop Lord Chippy from burning them down. Justice ain't fast, justice ain't clean. It's a long, sharp road through the in-between. So raise your fists and light your
Broke B. A woman at a kid's Foot Locker stabbed a teen with a kitchen knife after getting roasted over her card being declined. What in the ratchet, crazy is going on? I mean, it's too simple to say maybe it's Satan, but sir, could you give it a rest, please? A Michigan woman, Michigan, I'm looking at you, but we got Indiana over here with baristas stealing all the bear cups at Kroger. So Indiana's not much better. A Michigan woman shopping at a kid's Foot Locker with her children allegedly went berserk after someone behind her in line called her a broke B word because her card got declined, leading her to stab a teenager who was in the store, as you do. The victim, Sonia Jenkins, 19, told local Fox affiliate WJBK that she was inside the kids' Foot Locker at Southland Center Mall in Taylor, watching a female suspect lose her cool after the comment was made before she began randomly stabbing her. Now, Jenkins insists that she was not the one who made the statement about the suspect being a broke B word, but said she did enter the Foot Locker to see what was going on after hearing a commotion. I think it was unfair for me to get stabbed. Yeah, that's typically what everyone who gets stabbed thinks. I mean, even the ones who might have been, perforated in self-defense, they're like, it's not fair. Jenkins told the local news station, noting that the woman allegedly used a kitchen knife to stab her neck, stomach, and thigh. To start, I was stabbed 4 times and I have a punctured lung right now. Now, Jenkins alleged that the woman was screaming at people near the Foot Locker register when she began snapping on the teen. She said that the woman also had her child with her. As the argument got verbal, she put her hand in the purse and proceeded to tell me she was going to pew-pew me, Jenkins alleged. I did not see or even know why I was stabbed until after the physical altercation. Now, police told local news that the female suspect was arrested and is expected to be charged. I'm going to press charges, but it does sadden me because I don't want her to be taken away from her children, Jenkins, the victim, said. Ma'am, I think the children are safer away from the woman who brings an automatic steak knife with her to Foot Locker in case her honor is, questioned. Okay? I mean, I understand not wanting to break up a family, but the mom made a choice and she chose wrong. And maybe the kids will understand if you do bad things, you get taken to jail. I'm sorry, but we can't just have no standards because a person is a parent. It doesn't work like that. You are held to a higher standard as a parent. I can't. This one had me about to throw my entire computer into the trash can. So we need to name and shame because absolutely this disgusting piece of human corroded trash water, allegedly in Minecraft. Quote, if I'm guilty of anything, it's leaving. A father who left a baby to pass away in a string didn't tell the mom he was abandoning the children because he wanted to avoid drama. Just to the center of the sun. I mean, I don't think we need one more person converting oxygen to carbon dioxide with this mentality, but I'm willing to let Elon Musk send him to Mars. And of course it's from Indiana because my state is the Florida of the Midwest today. A 26-year-old Indiana man is reportedly facing near a decade behind bars after abandoning his 2 young children, including a 3-month-old infant who was later found passed away in her baby swing. Now, court records show that Jacob Vera pled guilty to neglect of a dependent, a level 3 felony, and was originally facing neglect of a dependent for causing death, a level 1 felony. Why did we plead it down? Why is he still not on the level 1 felony? Now, according to a probable cause arrest affidavit obtained by local affiliate WTHR, police with the Muncie Police Department were called shortly after 8:30 p.m. on March the 25th, 2023, to Best Way Inn in Broadway for a cardiac arrest. Now, officers rushed in there to find a baby, Isabella Vera, unresponsive in her swing. First responders unfortunately had to pronounce her at the scene. Now, Isabella's mother told the police that she had left her baby and her 16-month-old in the care of Vieira around 2 p.m. that day to go to work. When she returned home more than 6 hours later, she found the older child crying uncontrollably in a pack-and-play. The father was nowhere to be found. Now, the mother saw Isabella swaddled in a blanket and rocking in a baby swing, but she wasn't moving normally as she would, so she picked her up. Now, the mother then ran into another room as, Vieira had left with the family's cell phone. Medical personnel determined that rigor mortis had already set in and believed that Isabel had been dead for at least 2 hours. Now, detectives spoke to another resident of the motel and said that Vera came up to him and offered him $130 for a ride to Chicago. Now, that man declined, so Vieira had a friend drive him to Peoria, Illinois, more than 250 miles away. Now, police were able to catch up with him and asked him why he left. "If I'm guilty of anything, it's leaving," he allegedly said. He said he left because he wanted to avoid drama with the kid's mother. Now, the medical examiner has reported that baby Isabella, passed away from asphyxiation. So we don't know if it was positional or if he had wrapped her so tightly with a blanket, if she spit up. Now, as part of a plea deal, he will spend 9 years behind bars, according to THR, and he is slated to be sentenced on December the 1st. Now, Isabella's obituary described her as a beautiful little girl with an infectious smile and beautiful eyes that left our world way too early. Again, 9 years? They let him plead down for this? Are you kidding me? Indiana, I am ashamed. I have no words, y'all. I told you these were bad. These are some of the worst stories that I've brought to you. So we will have a palate cleanser right after this. I have found more videos to make us smile. Let's get through this, though, because we must name and shame this woman, because what the hell? What the actual Satan? Hoping he would go to sleep forever, a woman who tried to take the life of her wheelchair-bound son regretted he survived. Now she's headed for prison, but not for as long as prosecutors want. All of the prison. Can we just say that this woman shouldn't be back when she lamented the fact that her son survived? Can we just all agree as humanity that this heifer should stay behind bars forever? Now, prosecutors wanted to keep a 65-year-old Minnesota mother behind bars for nearly 2 decades for trying to take the life of her adult special needs son, but a judge rebuffed that request and sent her to prison for a far shorter sentence. Where is this judge, and how do we get them unelected? Julie Meyer Schnell was sentenced to prison for 3 years after admitting that she attempted to take the life of her wheelchair-bound son by dumping crushed-up anxiety pills into a feeding bag at his group home. Again, judge, no, come here to the front of the congregation because I think you need to explainarate yourself. Explain to me, judge, why this woman deserves only 3 years. Now, Meyer Schnell reached a plea agreement with prosecutors that she agreed to plead guilty in exchange for a dismissal of aggravating factors of the victim being particularly vulnerable. Now, prosecutors wanted Schnell to go to prison for 18 years, which is the maximum sentence allowed under guidelines, according to the Minnesota Star Tribune. But the judge went far below the maximum, a decision that prosecutor Ron Havakar strongly opposed. The state pointed out that the defendant systematically tried to take the life of her disabled son, her own child. Now, prior to her plea, the defendant showed little to no remorse. The defendant even told law enforcement that she regretted her son survived her attempts. 3 years? Judge, come to the front of the congregation. You have an invite from Pope Mo to explain yourself, but you need to explain yourself. Now, a 36-month sentence for attempted murder is why people feel like the justice system is fooked. According to, well, he didn't say that, but I said that. Paraphrased the prosecutor. Now, the judge did not go on to explain the shorter sentence, though Schnell's son did ask for leniency. Now, Schnell was in the midst of divorce proceedings with Minnesota Department of Correction Commissioner Paul Schnell when she was arrested in August 2024. Following her arrest, the couple's divorce was finalized, and Schnell filed for an order of protection on behalf of himself and the victim. Now, as Law and Crime previously reported, the attempted murder took place on December 3rd, 2023, according to the probable cause affidavit. The victim, whose name was not released by authorities, is wheelchair bound with spina bifida and does need a ventilator as well as on-the-clock care. Now, he was receiving care at Regency Home Care in Vadenas Heights in Ramsey County when Schnell tried to kill him with a lorazepam overdose. Quote, she was hoping, quote, he would go to sleep forever, end quote, according to one of the several text messages in which she confessed her crime. Now, documents said that the victim told investigators he liked his residence and had everything he needed, and talked about his friends and what he enjoys doing in his spare time, including volunteering weekly at the zoo. Now, the Ramsey County Sheriff's Office said that Schnell not only admitted to multiple people, including the victim, that she had crushed up her anti-anxiety pills to try to take her son's life, but also provided additional details to investigators when questioned. Quote, on June 15th, 2024, Investigator Hughes spoke to the defendant about her confession. During this Mirandized statement, the defendant admitted that she did in fact attempt to kill the victim in December 2023. The defendant stated she refilled her lorazepam prescription at the beginning of the month, receiving 31 pills. Investigator Hughes was able to confirm that the defendant visited the victim at his group home on December 3rd, 2023. The defendant admitted she crushed up the remaining lorazepam pills, put them into a slurry of water in a container to bring to the facility. She brought the slurry in the container, carrying it in her pocket, and she left the empty container in the victim's feeding bag that night prior to leaving. Now, according to investigators, Schnell then said at the time, quote, the whole time I knew I was really going to try to do this. And I recall all night I was like, am I really doing this? Am I doing this? I can't believe I'm doing this. Now, authorities said that Schnell recalled thinking, I'm going to jail, and worried about toxicology reports implicating her after the victim survived respiratory failure. And she said that she completely regretted he survived. Again, Mother of the Year. Why is this woman only going away for 3 years? Like, Mommy Dearest is a kind and loving woman compared to this heifer. I was worried about them finding out through toxicology, and I was probably trying to figure out what I was going to do. I'm just going to go to jail, Schnell told authorities. Now, by July 2024, authorities said that evidence had showed up 2 days prior to the attempted red rum. The defendant refilled her lorazepam prescription. Investigators say what happened in early August, just weeks before her arrest, is even more shocking. On August 6, 2024, the defendant texted the victim confessing to him that she had put her medicine in his feeding bag in hopes that he would, quote, go to sleep forever. Investigator Hughes received copies of these victims. The victim texted the defendant that he was on the fence about deleting her number. In response to Investigator Hughes' question about how the victim was feeling after learning about what happened, he responded, I made it. I'm still here. In describing his reaction to the defendant's confession, the victim stated, it's heavy and a lot to process. Now, local Fox affiliate KMSP reported that Schnell was experiencing mental health issues in the months before the crime. No shit, Sherlock. She still did it. She still knew that she was guilty. She tried to cover up her crime, and she didn't regret it. She regretted it didn't work. So why she's getting 3 years, I will never know, but that judge needs to be out on their behinds. I just can't. But we do have now a palate cleanser because I have found something hilarious, and it has its own parody, which, I mean, who can't like this? Now, I do apologize for the audio sensation we are about to hear. Don't get too excited, and the Judds, move on over. This is hilarious because they actually have people. This apparently is so famous that people have actually made their own parodies.
And, well, we just want to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
Public
as
access
Henrietta and Myrna
television.
are going to sing, I wish you a Merry Christmas, a blessed Christmas, and most of all, a Happy Christmas. God richly bless you. Here's Henrietta and Myrna Newdorf right now singing.
Oh my gosh, it's a zoom in. It's a zoom in. Look at those. Look at that editing. Okay. Now, I would like to tell you that these hairstyles are no longer popular in the great state of rural Indiana, but these, in fact, are still hairstyles that you can see at your local Walmart. So if you ever feel like you need a blast from the past, now, don't let these faces, fool you. These women are brimming with enthusiasm. I feel like I'm watching a hostage video that I didn't know that I was in the middle of. Yes. Faces you'll only see at the DMV. The enthusiasm is over the roof. Not a smile out there. They're just a ray of pitch black. Okay, so this is what we have to suffer through, but they have a parody. Where is it?
Welcome back to Joyce Jones' program. I'm so happy to be here today, and my cup runneth over because we've got Henrietta and Myrna New.
Oh my God, why do I not do this? Oh, because I need more friends, and changing my wigs is... But this looks like something I would do.
Dorf in the studio.
Oh, the close-up on the poinsettia! I am dead. Oh, tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Oh my God, this might be the best thing I've ever seen in my entire life. They capture the lifelessness so well. Oh, tell it on the mountain, when Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds kept there watching over silent flocks by night. Behold, through the I am dead. That is my face when my son tries to tell me about Roblox. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. I doff my cap to you, ladies. This is the best thing. This is the face I have every time Mr. Mo says we have to go out. Birds hear and tremble below above the earth. The rainy angel chorus to hear our Savior's. That's me. I'm gonna try to get out of here. Let me out. Let me. Oh my gosh, the glamour fade in shot. He's still in my heart.
Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go
Oh no,
tell it
not
on
the Zoom moment. Oh God, I love the internet. This is why I wake up every
This
morning.
has been the latest episode of Joyce Jones' program. Merry Christmas, and most of all, Happy Christmas, and may your Jesus cup runneth over. Welcome back to Joyce's Jones program.
Okay, that has to. You guys, your Jesus cup runneth over. Y'all, I saw that and I was like, you know what? We need this on a Monday, especially with the craptastic, people I have to do news on. We needed that. So you are welcome because, oh my gosh, I was rolling in tears. I had to redo my eyeliner. That being said, we do have puppy kitten news as our final couple stories. We do have puppy kitten news again because it's a Monday and I know it's a Monday.
When the world feels like a dumpster dive and humans forget how to thrive, take a break, just you and me, with a puppy and kitten, wild and free. Paws and purrs, let's drift away to a land where tails wag and play. No more noise, just gentle muse in our furry four-legged cruise.
Australia, you're going to need to explain this one to me because didn't we have the whole dingoes ate my baby thing? I'm just asking as a person who had to watch Meryl Streep pretend to do an Australian accent. But questions a little bit. An Australian state has changed weight rules to allow dingoes to be pets. I can foresee nothing bad happening from this. In fact, Australia, go ahead. This is a great idea. Now, the state government in Queensland, Australia, has considering classification changes that would allow for dingoes to be kept as household pets. I mean, I say go for it. I mean, everything in Australia wants to, unalive you. So I say dingoes for pets. Okay. The Queensland Department of Primary Industries is weighing a potential change that could see dingoes reclassified as Canis familiars, also known as domestic dogs. I mean, I know we have wolf dogs over in America, so I don't know. I don't know enough about wolf dogs or dingo pets to make an educated choice about this, but it just doesn't seem like a great idea. Now, the law's change is being considered as part of a review of Queensland's biosecurity laws ahead of legislative amendments that are expected to be made this spring. Now, dingoes are currently classified as an invasive species in the state, meaning that they can't be released, located, fed, or sold, or even kept as pets. Now, dingoes will continue to be protected in national parks, and landowners will still be able to take actions to protect their livestock from wild dog or dingo attacks under the general biosecurity obligation, a Department of Primary Industries representative told the Australian Broadcasting Group. Again, I would go to your local Australian content creators for the intricacies of dingo-ness. But this seems like a not so great idea. Dingoes are not dogs, said Alex Livingston of the nonprofit Defend the Wild in her submission to a Department of Primary Industries discussion paper. They are genetically, evolutionarily, and behaviorally a distinct species that play an irreplaceable ecological role as Australia's apex land predator. Kelly Clarns, a genetic researcher specializing in dingoes, said that the canines do not make suitable pets. They're more wild, so they don't do as well in home environments as domesticated dogs. They're much smarter, they're much better at escaping traditional domestic homes in terms of climbing fences, so they just generally don't fit into most domestic style settings. Now, dingoes are currently legal to keep in pets as in New South Wales and Western Australia, but rescue groups have said many of the animals end up being abandoned or surrendered by their owners. Yes, a dingo is not a domesticated animal. I can't foresee anything good happening with this, but there you go. Well, also, apparently we've got 3 African serviles that have escaped a Pennsylvania sanctuary. So, look, wild animals do not like to be captive. A powerful windstorm in Pennsylvania caused damage to a wildlife sanctuary and allowed 3 African servals to escape. These are not domestic animals. Do not try to, pet them or get close to them because they have extremely sharp murder mittens and they will use them. So, don't go picking up random, big cats in Pennsylvania. A powerful windstorm caused at least 3 African servals to escape. The Cricket Wildlife Center in Alberta said on social media that the windstorm on Wednesday night caused damage to multiple enclosures. It did allow 3 of the cats to escape. Now, the center said that these are older animals and keepers fear that they will not be able to take care of themselves on the loose. They're not a danger to your kids or pets, so please do not harm them, the post said. That being said, if you do encounter them, call local wildlife. Don't, run away. But that is the news for you, so be careful. We've got, lions in Ireland that turn out to be Newfoundlands. We've got, the world's worst mother getting 3 years because this is not the matrix I signed up for, so remember, go tell it on the mountain, and with more or less enthusiasm than Henrietta, whatever you choose, Have a wonderful day. Thank you for spending your morning with me. I will be on with Megan today. I think we're finishing up the Tim's trial. I believe so. I think I might. It's at 10:30. Okay. So I will be taking a restroom break and clipping some of the videos to put out, especially the Go Tell It on the Mountain thing. And that's what I will be adding those into Morning with Mo. So if you have video clips that are, let's just say, Mornings with Mo appropriate, send them to me. I do love going on the internet, finding all the weird stuff. And this morning, but we need some palate cleanser, so I'm going to be doing more of that that's, coming up. So we have a new segment. We're up to 3. We've got, What the Walmart Rapture, Name and Shame with Lord Chippy. And now we've got What the Hell Did Mo Find? Mo found it. So that'll be a new thing that we're going to be doing. Have a lovely day. I will see you over at Megan's. We will be doing, I think, river dancing, and let me just say that I drop it like it's tepid or lukewarm, so you get a lot of swaying, but I don't really do many more moves. So look for Megan to have the good dance moves. Remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but have a sassy mouth and carry a can of bitch fire because you never know when you're going to run into a dog lion. Who knows? The wilds of Ireland are crazy. Bye, you guys.